Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for
Hey guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in into another episode of your favorite podcast.
That's just my opinion.
We need to get a little bit better at that, but we're practicing, guys. I'm sorry.
We can do it like in sync in person, but we can't do it like that way right now.
Like remotely. And besides the fact that we say it like at a different pace, I'm like, that's just my opinion. You're like,
and I'm just like, that's just my opinion.
Whatever. The point is, we're working on a fucking intro for you guys because we're getting really sick of just having to like talk about this, like I don't want to say like welcome all the fucking time, like just intro and then just us.
I want there to be like a song. I want for everybody to be like, hey.
Yeah, I want someone to like jam to like our intro and be like, oh my god, like I fucking love this intro. Whatever. If anyone has a friend or cousin or knows any people that make intros, make sure to tell them to hit us up because
we know a certain person, but for some reason
it's never fucking happening. So whatever, instead of bashing on people, I'm just gonna hire someone else. Okay, so what motherfucking week in Texas. Let me just say that.
I was so heated. Like I've just been so mad about it. I feel so attacked. I feel so personally attacked by it, honestly.
I feel like every single woman should feel some type of way about it. Not necessarily because, and for, anyone outside of Texas listening to it that may not be aware of what's going on, our beloved governor, Wheelchair Abbott, just a bill that's called the heartbeat bill, right? And it pretty much makes abortion in Texas
illegal.
Like it's illegal, literally. So this was just passed. I think it was at the beginning of the week. So the whole week it's just been sad. Like it's just been like I feel like we were so focused on other things and like, on being so progressive and all this shit. And then at the end of the day, it's always like, boom, bitch, you fucking thought that you were taken as a human being now. Like, fuck you. Fuck every single woman, every single person that can get pregnant. Fuck you. Like, we don't fucking care about you or your heartbeat. Like,
or like what you have to say about your own body.
Literally, it's just, I feel attacked too. And I'm someone that I don't usually, feel attacked by people. Like I try to keep my cool as much as I can. And I just feel like this is so unfair. Like I just feel like a lot of people just go based on, oh, it's because that's not right. Like that's not right. Blah, blah, blah.
And I completely understand that. It is not right. But I just feel like as a woman, you feel like what? Like my opinion doesn't matter?
I just feel like if it's not your problem, you have no opinion whatsoever if it's right or wrong for you. Yeah. Because it goes to everything. Like if I have a problem, it doesn't even have to be with being pregnant or accidentally pregnant or, whatever. I just have a problem. And to me, that problem is a really, really big deal. And to you, Tracy, that maybe you don't see it in the same way I see it, that doesn't make my problem invalid. My problem is still a problem. You don't understand the way I'm seeing it because you're not in my shoes. You get me? Like you're not going through what I'm going. You're not having all of these different thoughts and you're not trying to make this problem go away. So I feel like everyone should have a choice. I do not think abortion should be against the law. I'm just going to say that. I am pro-choice, but I am also pro-life. And the way I mean it like that, it's because I don't think we should be separated in pro-life, pro-choice, and we're constantly against each other. I feel like it has to be, we're all pro-life. And because you're pro-life, you have the option to choose what you want to do with your body because it's your life. I am pro, do whatever the fuck you want to do with your body. That's what I am. And if you do not want to bring a child into the world, you should not feel obligated, because that's what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You should not feel obligated to bring someone into the world that you know that you're not ready to handle. Like, or maybe you don't even want kids. And I don't think it's something that we should shame people for. If you do not want kids, you do not want kids. Honestly, the world is already overpopulated as it is. Like, if you want to bring more kids into the world, don't worry about it. Your neighbor probably already has 5 kids. Like
it's cool.
It's people can have kids, people cannot have kids. It's fine.
But I feel like it's not even like, okay, yeah, it's about like who wants to have kids, who doesn't want to have kids. But at the end of the day, it goes back to like, there isn't even an exception for you to, like, even if you've been raped, there's no exception for that. Like, if you've been raped, there's no exception for if it's like incest. There's no exception like whatsoever for that. And I think that's like super fucked up, because God forbid, like, you know, you're like out there, whatever, something ends up happening to you. Like, it can be anything. Like, it can be anything, because a lot of the people were also saying like, oh, well, that's why like you shouldn't be having sex. And okay, whatever. It's not even like about, it's not even about that. Like, it's also about the fact that like you shouldn't. I get so heated. I feel so attacked. No, like it also goes back to like that whole thing. Like, what if you're in a parking lot? Like right now, like there's chingos of things that are happening. And like, what if you're in a parking lot, somebody goes up to you and that's it. Like, it's game over. You end up getting like raped, and then you have to live with that moment, and you still have to live with the kid too. And what if like you were a college student, or you're still in high school, or whatever, like you're already older, but you don't have a stable life to bring like this child in here into this world, and you still have to like put up with that fact. Or like, not even then, but like, not everyone has parents that are going to help them out. You know, not every single female has a good relationship with their mother to be like, or with their grandmother to be like, hey, you know what, can you like help me do this or that or whatever. And now you're stuck with that obligation, when you could have tried like getting an abortion, but
a safe abortion.
Like you could, and now like, it's like against the law. Like, you can't do that.
You're not terminating abortion. You're just making safe abortion harder to reach. That's it. Mm-hmm. Because everyone that lives in the border, like I saw so many posts about this. I can just cross to Mexico and get it done.
Yes.
Like, a lot of people were saying that, and
it shouldn't even be about that.
I just hate the fact that that's what you have to get to, like, because our government doesn't fucking give a shit about us. Like, whatever your reasoning is, that is your reasoning, and this is never an easy way out. Like, for all those motherfuckers that think like they're just taking the easy way out because they're just slutting around, look,
it's not even about that.
First things first. Do you have a motherfucking uterus? No? Oh, okay. So I thought someone said something. Like, no, like, if you do not know what it is to go through this experience and to go through everything that it entails, you have no fucking opinion whatsoever. And if you do have a uterus and you still believe that if you get pregnant, it's because God sends you an angel, which, again, I'm not arguing anything when it has to be with religion. I'm just saying that's your opinion. If you get pregnant, you have the motherfucking child.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
That's your life. If you say, you know what, if I have a kid, honestly, I'm going to be completely fine, then that is completely up to you. Like, no one should shame you because you do want to have a kid if you accidentally get pregnant. And no one should shame that other person because they don't. It's all about responsibility.
Yeah. And I feel like we're all completely different people. Like, something that I can like handle is not the same thing that you can handle. Like, and vice versa. Like, you know, everyone reacts to certain things in their life completely different. And I mean, there's a lot of girls that what's going to end up happening? Like, they're going to end up committing suicide, like, you know, like, or like they're going to end up like killing their kid, like, because they couldn't, and they knew, like, since day one, they knew that they were not stable enough to have a child. And like, not only that, but who's going to take care of these kids? Like, who's going to take care of these kids for these people who don't even have like the money to, or the help to actually bring this child like into this
like,
world.
they don't even want to have a kid.
Yeah.
I just feel like we should not obligate people to it. And look, if y'all want to get to the point where like no one should have abortions, blah 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 blah, just be more careful with yourself and don't be out at night and don't go drinking and put yourself in danger and situation. Okay,
mejor no hagas nada, quédate en tu casa.
let's just say that all of that is possible, right? Let's just say that it does not exist for someone to accidentally get pregnant after you're raped, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just fucking say, let's take those out of the equation. Still, what you can do is invest all of this money that you're saving from safe abortions into sex ed, into free fucking birth control. But no, dude, no. If you're not approved for the fucking Texas Women's Health or whatever, you have to pay a hella amount of money for birth control. And then still, it's your responsibility as a woman to get on birth control, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you have any motherfucker, come in you or whatever, and then you weren't on birth control, oh shit, she wanted
like that's your own fault.
Literally, like it's like, oh man, like shit, you didn't tell me to put a condom on.
You should have been more careful.
You should have already put a condom on. What do you mean? Like, what the fuck do you mean? And if y'all want to get down to that, I have the perfect solution for you. Everyone can get a motherfucking vasectomy.
Yes. Y no pasa nada, no pasa nada, no pasa nada.
More women don't have to be crazy hormonal on these motherfucking drugs that if y'all have not been on birth control, do not come at me. That is sent from hell. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how you feel. You do not feel like yourself. Yeah. Some people bleed out, like literally they have their period for a crazy amount of time.
Yes.
Some people just cannot get off of the weight that they're gaining because of birth control, because they want to be responsible. And if it comes to the point where, that 0.0001% happens and you get pregnant, you as a responsible adult cannot do anything about it because that's illegal.
Yep. And the crazy thing about it is that the father can sue anyone. So like if you're under 17, your parents can sue you. Of course, the guy is also can sue you. If anybody that knows like can sue you, and you can sue like the driver, you can sue like the doctor. Obviously, the doctor gets in trouble, like the staff. Everyone gets in trouble. And I just think that the most fucked up part about it is that if you do there's going to be so many females that are going to try to do this at home. And what's going to end up happening, like they're going to end up like, fuck, it could either be like a life and death kind of experience. And let's say that you end up doing it at home, whatever. And like, yeah, you can't stop your bleeding. Like something goes wrong. What's going to end up happening? These females are not even going to want to go to the hospital, because you go to the hospital and they're going to fucking report you. And then what? Like it's jail time. Like literally it says jail time.
Trying to do something responsible. Like y'all motherfuckers are fucking crazy. Like I am livid. Tracy and I were talking about it right now, like before we got online, because I didn't personally read the whole bill. Right? Mm-hmm. But my homegirl Tracer over here, she did. She has some crazy shit to tell you guys that is on that bill. Like it is just so crazy and so honestly, sad to me how it has gotten to this point. Like how people really just do not give a shit. Like, like they just don't really care. Like it comes down to that, because hear me out. I had this conversation with a couple of girlfriends and guy friends about, vasectomies, right? Uh-huh. I was like, people can get a motherfucking vasectomy and we're all good, man. We're all good. I mean, obviously the rape thing is still an issue, but if you're out here partying and doing, being irresponsible or whatever, it's done. You don't have to be a father anymore, because no one is going to trap you. And if you get to a point where you do want to have kids, it's motherfucking reversible.
Yep, it is.
Still fucking have kids, motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't understand it. Like, why is it women always that have to be on birth control? Why is it us always that have to be the responsible ones? Why are we always the ones that have to go through these crazy changes from pregnancy? Like, we were having this conversation with Reina a couple of episodes ago, that, you know, pregnancy is all great, dude, until you're in the fucking situation. Like, it's not as pretty as everyone makes it look. Like, it's not. Like, let's be real with it. And pregnancy sucks. Like, it sucks. Like, you feel completely hormonal. And, you know, I've never been pregnant, but from I know, you know, what I know,
like, you're not yourself.
Friends, like,
yes, like, you're not yourself. And it's not even like about that. It's just like everything. Like, it's so uncomfortable. It's not a good time. Like, you just feel so tired. You're so fucking swollen. Like, it's horrible. I remember this one time. I was with my friend Angela. We had like left work. We were on our lunchtime, and I wanted Lin's. So we go, obviously.
Don't have that like rats and pieces of dogs.
I didn't give a fuck. It tastes so good. So I got like the Mongolian girl, and it was so fucking good. Obviously, like they have like soy sauce and all this shit. So it was so salty. Like, it was fucking salty, like salty as fuck. So by the time we finished eating and we got to work, my hands were super swollen, like swollen as fuck. Like, I couldn't even close my hands. I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't go back into work because I was like, que vergüenza, like everybody's gonna see me. I'm like fucking like yes, like I just couldn't. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a fun time. It was not a fun time. And I think it's so because I'm not okay. Like, whenever I brought it up to like certain people, it was like, okay, and like, what if you were to get pregnant right now? Like, you would get an abortion. And maybe like not right now, not at this age, but I feel like at the end of the day, it goes down to like, I have a daughter. And I'm not saying that that's something I'm going to encourage her to do, but I would 100% want for her to have every fucking, like, yes, like for her to have every single right that like I had, if not even more. Like, what the fuck, you know, like, what if like something bad happens to her, or she goes to a party, like she's drunk, whatever, like anything can happen. And like, yes, and like what, like she's not gonna have like that safe way out. Like, I understand, I completely understand that's not something I'm gonna encourage her to do, but like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I have a daughter, and I feel like that's so fucked up. Like, it's just so fucked up for her to like not be able to make her own decisions like when she's older. And we're still fucking young too. Anything can happen to us, dude. Like, anything can happen to us. And like, what? Like, now we're gonna have to like I said before, like go through like the whole life event and still take care of this child. Like, I don't know. I just think it's super fucked up. But I feel like, okay, so I've been watching this show, The Handmaid's Tale. And basically it's about like, it's nothing near like what the fuck is happening now, but that's kind of how it started. So like they started taking away like women's rights, and they like one day they're like, everyone's working, and this one day like just government like soldiers like go into like this one workplace, and they're like, everybody, like all these females, like get your stuff. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And then they're like, are we fired? Like, what's happening? Like, are we being laid off? And he's like, the owner was like, you know what, like just get your stuff. Like, I cannot really talk about this, but like you can no longer work here. So whatever, right? And then like they get home, and then like days later, what ends up happening is that like women didn't have rights. Like they're like, if they had money in the bank account, all that shit was being taken away. The only way that you can get like your money out of your bank was if you were married. Your husband can actually like withdraw like that money and put it like into his bank account. Everyone had like property and shit like that. Like all of that was taken away from you. And that it started with the women, and then was obviously like throughout the whole thing, it ends up being like a takeover. But it was all about God. So when it was all about God, all about like, and I mean, I don't have a problem with like God or anything like that.
We're not atheists, guys.
No, like
we're not atheists, but
I completely understand. Like, I feel like we're just open-minded to everything. Like,
yeah, we are. But also, I'm just because like it says something in the Bible. Like, I'm not a hypocrite. You get me? Like, I feel like if this God, my God that loves everyone, that is constantly wanting good for people, and completely understands that sometimes And completely understands that sometimes, mistake happens and you have to do the responsible thing or do everything out of your way to make sure that you're caring for yourself and the people around you or everyone around you. I don't think God would be like, hell nah, Maria, you cannot get an abortion. Like, you need to have that low life's done, like son or daughter. Like, no, like God would not want you to like go through like a super traumatic situation where now Maria's daughter or son has to deal with all of that shit for the rest of their life because her parents or their parents weren't able to give them the life that they wanted them to give. But, maybe Maria waits a couple of years and graduates school and gets a good job and all this shit. And now she's married and now she's happy and now she can have a kid. And then that kid has all the opportunities her first child could not have had.
Yeah.
And now Maria lives a good life. And now that kid lives a good life. And now she's married and in a loving relationship, not with an abusive dude. And like, there's so many different scenarios that could go on that people don't even start to imagine. But, we want to decide what you can do and what you can't do.
Yep.
That's just that's hypocrisy. Full on.
At its finest.
At its finest.
Oh, yeah. And then the most fucked up part about this is that these females, it's all about God, right? These females were all they had, what they were there for was either you would get picked to be a Martha, and a Martha is like a housemaid, or you are you're a handmaid. And what it is you are there to have children, and that's it. Like that's all you're there for. You're just there to get impregnated by these men, have their children, and that's it. Like that's all you're there for. And you're going to have as many kids as you can have because that's what women are made for. That's all we're made for. Like that's it. Like we have no other rights. We have nothing. We have no say in anything.
In life.
Nothing. No, nothing. God brought us into this world just so we can bear children, and that's it. That's so fucked up. And then so I'm like super into this fucking show
on HBO Max, right?
I don't know. I watch it on that website. I want to say it's on Hulu. I really don't know.
I think it is on Hulu. I think
I really don't know.
Show.
And yeah, so whatever, right? I'm super like into the show, and it just keeps getting like worse and worse. And their whole thing is that like this is a way that we should live because this is what's going to help the world. This is what's going to help us go into heaven. And like all the children that like are the children of these moms that are being raped, right? They are all being brainwashed and just taught like this is a way to live. Like you are here just to get married, to attend to your husband, and to have children. Like that's it. There's nothing else for you here. And you have no right and like no decision. You have no rights. You have nothing. Like no opinion whatsoever. You can never like talk. Like you can never answer back to your husband. Like you can never do anything. So all this shit is like happening on the show. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this is so fucked up, right? This would never happen. And then like we get like something like this. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening. Like what the fuck? So I was just super like
offended.
What? Super offended. I felt super attacked. I felt like this is happening. And I just feel like, yes, I completely understand it. Like it's such a fucked up thing. Like just to even, I understand it because like the way that they say like, oh, it's a life, right? But I also feel like,
let me tell you,
it's not even, yeah, like it's not, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's not even, it is, but it's not. Like, it's just the tissue is there. I don't think it has a soul just yet, because at the end of the day, that's the main thing. Like, that's the main thing. That's why it's okay to kill animals, right? Because they don't have a soul. Like, that's what they say. Yes, like so that's why it's
I've
okay.
never heard that one before.
What do you mean? Yes, that's why it's okay.
I thought we were all against killing animals.
No, like okay, like whenever it, like obviously it's bad, but it's okay to like kill like a cow. I was gonna say a cow, like a chicken, you know, because they don't have souls, and that's why it's. I guess that's why at the end of the day, like it's not a right. You should not be killing humans because we have a soul. So I don't think that the baby has a soul when it's like weeks old.
It's not a baby. This is a thing. Like it's a bulk of cells. Like it's not a thing yet. That's the thing. Like it does not have a soul because it is not a human being yet. It is a seed. It can potentially be a human being, right? Yes. But it is not one yet. And this is something that I ran into on Twitter that I want to go ahead and read to you. So it says, we can legally pull the plug on people who are brain dead even when they have heartbeats because they are legally dead. Okay. So someone that has, been through an accident or whatever that has put them in a vegetable state, you could say, and they do not have any brain activity, even though they have a heartbeat, you can legally pull the plug on them and kill them. We could say it like that. And this is a full-on human being. It's a person that has lived, that has a soul, like you want to say, right?
Or like when you're in a coma. De volada, like.
Well, okay, so that's the thing. They are in a vegetable state because they have no brain activity, right? That's what we're getting to. Without a brain, you have no cognitive function or awareness of anything, to be completely honest. You have no fucking clue what's going around you because your brain is not working. Your brain is what makes your body work. Right? So it's what makes you a person. It's what gives you the ability to
do anything,
do human things, right?
To breathe.
Okay. But people are out here really arguing that heartbeats equal life, right? That because this 6-week motherfucking
bulk of
cells, right, has a heartbeat, that's why you need to go on with the pregnancy, right?
I've never searched it up. When do babies get when
do you know how much
when does a brain grow?
6 weeks is a month and a half. You're completely aware that when you miss your period for a week, it's normal, right? Sometimes people that are irregular miss their motherfucking period. Like it does not, happen on the 30th. It ends up happening on the 10th. It is normal for you to miss 10 days, usually because, you have some type of hormonal disbalance or any of these, type of things. But now, if it turns out that you missed that period because you were pregnant and you noticed after 6 weeks, that is a month and a half. Most people notice that they're pregnant at 8 weeks. At 2 months, and they're not even showing yet. Like, this is just fucking crazy to me. Like, let's just be completely honest. At the end of the day, it is fucking oppression. That's what it is. And I don't want to get to a point where, I'm shitting on, fuck all these males and whatever. Like, I'm not that person. Like, I love people in general. We just have to be aware that at the end of the day, they would not sign a bill to make men, right? To make men get vasectomies.
No, and
their body. Hear me out. It's their body, right? And honestly, we should not obligate men to get vasectomies because it's their body and we shouldn't alterate it like that. But as women, we cannot decide over our body, right? We have to have that birth control. And this is a funny thing because whenever
you don't, it's your own fault.
Forces, they get your motherfucking ass on birth control. When my sister's in the fucking Air Force and she had to go on birth control. And they made her go on birth control. And she had horrible reactions to it, which is why they've been like switching her off to other ones. But you have to be on birth control because you can't get motherfucking pregnant. It is just fucking crazy to me. It's just fucking crazy to me. And in this point, in a whole year, right? In a whole year, we can only have one pregnancy. But in a whole year, like and there's another example I saw. In a whole year, if we fuck 100 different guys, we can only have one pregnancy in a year. Just one. But if a guy goes and fucks 100 different girls, he could potentially cause 100 pregnancies in a year. Why is everyone tripping over our body? Why is it my decision to be sued because I want to have an abortion, because I want to be responsible, because I don't want to bring this kid into the world, which isn't a kid yet, right? We're just saying here, it's only a freaking bulk of cells at this moment. I just think this is fucking crazy. Like, this is stupid crazy to me. Like, I cannot believe that we're living in a world where people do not understand that we should all decide for our own body.
Oh yeah, and on top of that, I just feel like, do you think, I don't know, I've been thinking about it, but do you think it's because all these men couldn't handle the fact that we have a vice president, like, woman?
Oh my God.
Like,
I do not
I don't
or vice president.
I don't think no, but like, it's just like, well, we were so empowered, and right now everything is about like woman empowerment. Like, that's all it's about. And then like these men, because there was 26 yes. There was 24 yes and 6 no's. There was only 8 females in that video. In the video where the governor is signing the bill, there was nothing but white men, and there was only 8 females. So then I went into, whenever I was looking at the bill, there was 24 yes and 6 no's. I don't know. I haven't really tried like going into it to see like who voted yes and who voted no. But I'm super curious.
We better have that motherfucking list out there so you guys know who you have representing your ass. Because this is just crazy. Like, this is just fucking stupid to me. Like, it makes no sense to me. If you do not want to have an abortion, do not go and get an abortion. That's it. That's it. The only thing you're terminating here is safe abortion. That's it. And 1 out of 4 women have an abortion in their life. 1 out of 4 women. The only thing you're making a difference here is that whoever the women in your life can potentially lose their life because they don't have access to safe abortion.
Yep, that's
it. And to answer your question about why I think it was, at the end of the day, everything has to do with money. That's it. I don't think it's because, you know, men now feel like women are over, you know, coming or whatever, and like they're not in charge anymore. I don't think it has to do with that. I ran into this little article, or actually it was an interview on the Daily Show, and they talk about it, right? So this woman is arguing, she's like, anti-choice people are not trying to stop abortion. They are trying to legislate who can and who cannot have abortions. Because most of these politicians, their wives and mistresses and daughters are always going to be able to get an abortion somewhere.
Yep.
When you have money, you can get it done.
You can travel to a different state.
You want to do. Yes, exactly. All criminalizing abortion will do is keep people trapped in poverty for generations. That's the goal. And if it wasn't the goal, they would spend their time and money on comprehensive sex ed, free birth control, and free contraception. But they don't. Because at the end of the day, everything has to do with fucking money. And that's why les conviene más. Because even if you think it's crazy, all of these not safe abortions are going to charge more now because there's going to be a higher demand. And you think the government doesn't get a fucking take from there? Like, seriously, they're not making any money off of it. That's fucking stupid, dude. It's fucking stupid. That's it. Like, I just think this is... It's unfair. It's completely unfair. And it's not because, you know, now I wanted to have an abortion on Thursday and on next Tuesday. Like, no, it's not something that you're supposed to be having frequently. It's not an easy way out. It's not an easy decision whatsoever, but it's an option that should be available. And for everyone imagining that abortion is this thing where they open you up and they go in and they pull out little baby where the little arm
put
is
in
like
suction,
and then they cut him out. And no,
okay, it's literally just your period.
It's a pill.
At that time, it's literally just your period. It's a pill and it's your period. That's it.
And you just bleed out. Like even having an abortion is fucking uncomfortable because you're bleeding out, like hardcore bleeding out for like a good 3 to 4 days. Like it's not fun, okay? It's not fun. It's not like I can go get this procedure done and then still, catch my friends at TKOs on a fucking Sunday. Like, no, like you have to be resting for a good amount of time because your body feels horrible, because you feel horrible, because it's a huge emotional toll. And I just don't understand why people think this is an easy way out. Like, it is not. And we get so heated about it just because I love my women. I love my women, and I hate when they feel trapped, and I hate when they feel like they do not have options. Like, I would hate to imagine one of my sisters in this situation, or imagine one of my best friends, or imagine my daughter. Like, if I had a kid and if she was going through something where she felt like already everyone in the world hates you. And as a fucking teenager, it happens, dude. You feel like everyone hates you and no one understands you. And then she didn't have the option of having a safe way to terminate a pregnancy. Like it just blows my mind. Like, how do you not want people to be safe? Like, don't even do it for yourself. It's not like they're obligating everyone to get a fucking abortion. Like, if they're pregnant, relax. You can keep on having your fucking pregnancy, Nancy the Christian. Like, no one fucking gives a shit. Like, do whatever you want to do because that's your choice. Yeah, that's your decision. And I'm very happy that that kid is going to be sunlight in your life. But sometimes it doesn't happen.
Sometimes it doesn't happen like that. It honestly just does not happen like that. For some people, it's just like, okay, so, I mean, and, okay, whatever. So my mom has like this one friend, and this girl, she had a kid, right? Whatever. She got pregnant, and she was on, I want to say it was like heroin or something. It was like really bad. And whenever she had her kid, was obviously like the baby was like hooked on it too. So then they had to like give it to the grandma. The grandma had to take care of it. Nothing happened to the girl. She went to rehab. And then she gets pregnant again. Again, the same thing happens. The baby was hooked on drugs, has to go to the grandma. Whenever they took away, then the government was like, hey, you know what? We're going to take away these kids. Like, there's no way you can be like their mom anymore. Like, that's it. You have no rights to them, whatever. Like, they will be your moms, or I don't remember who has the kids. I want to say it was a grandma. And so whatever. Well, she ends up saying, it's cool. Whatever, it's cool. Like, you guys can have my kids. I can just have more. She had another one. She ends up getting pregnant 4 times. All 4 times, the kids were hooked on drugs. The entire 4 times. Nothing ever really happened to her. She never really got in trouble. She never really nothing. Like, it was just like rehab. I feel like those are the bitches that should get sent to jail. Like, those are the females that should get sent to jail, because like, yeah, okay, whatever. She decided to keep the baby. She had every right to do it or whatever. But if it's a constant thing, like, yeah, whenever you see it the second time, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, yeah, okay, like you're taking away the kids, but now like this older person who's like can barely take care of her own self, who was already struggling to take care of like her children her entire life. Yes. Now you're obligating that one person to take care of the kids. Like, what the fuck? So like, it's just like, honestly, it's like you said, like, I don't think it was mainly like the reason for it was just to like save a life and stop like an abortion. It was more just to show like control, and not even like maybe even just that, like having all these like, because the people that cannot afford it, well, like, I mean, can still get the abortion, are going to be the people that have the money to be like, hey, you know what, mija, like, let's travel out of this fucking big ass fucking state that takes us already a fucking whole ass day to get out of Texas. But let's go ahead and go to like another fucking state where we can get this done, and make sure you don't tell anybody, because no one can know. Like, no one can know, because if we go back to Texas, like, who knows what might happen? Like, like boyfriend or the guy might sue us, or, you know, like, you can't say shit. Make sure everything's, so I feel like that's already super traumatizing, like, for a kid. And yeah, you can be like, okay, well, don't have sex. Make sure that your kids are like on birth control or whatever. But I think it's just still super fucked up. Like, even that one video that you shared where, like, you can, if you go out, you can wear this thing that's like a condom inside. You can, like, a tampon.
So it's called
And
the X.
what is it?
Rape X.
Okay, so then, like, you see, y todavía see, like, we have to take, like, that obligation. Like, we have to make sure that we do whatever the fuck it is. Like, we have to make sure that we don't go outside at night. We have to make sure that we, like, whenever we go to the gas station, like, make sure that you have your fucking little knife ready to, like, you know, like, it's just, there's so many things that us females have to do to protect ourselves from these men. And it's, like, not even, I understand it's not every single, like, person, it's not every single man out there, but I just feel like everything starts at home too. Like, we as, like, females are taught, like, since we're very, like, since we're young, like, hey, you know what, like, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, like, this and that. And now that, like, as, I mean, I don't have a boy, but, like, okay, my homegirl Reina, like, you know, like, she has 3. Like, now, like, her responsibility is now going to be, like, ensuring that she, like, gets all of this, like, knowledge into these little boys. And she's like, hey, you know what, like, you have to do this and you have to do that and blah 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 blah, because it goes back to the same thing. Como, what the fuck, like, everyone's always telling us, like, what we have to do to protect ourselves and this and that, but no one's ever talking to these kids. Like, no one's ever talking to these dudes straight up and being like, hey, like, no andes haciendo esto, like, no andes haciendo lo otro, like, blah blah blah, or whatever. Or no one's even trying to implement any type of punishment towards these men. Like, not even, I was so upset because no, there wasn't even an exception for rape, right? So you would think, you know what, they're going to raise up the years, like, for a rapist. No, like, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing at all.
You actually go to jail longer as a doctor if you like do an abortion than a rapist. Did you know that?
It's fucked up.
If you're a doctor that helped someone out and helped this person get an abortion, you will be in jail longer than the rapist that raped the girl. Like, let's just let that sink in. And I'm gonna go back to the whole, like, we have to protect ourselves from these men. We do, and it's not as common when, you know, kids or boys are brought up with the mentality of, don't do that to girls, or like, that's not right, or like whatever. But honestly, when it comes to rape, even men get raped. The only thing they don't have to worry about is getting pregnant. Mm-hmm. So, like, raping is a horrible situation that goes on in the world. And it's something that has to be dealt with, and it's something that needs to have more awareness of. Like, you need to know that everyone will fight back. Like, not only girls, but also boys, because, you know, guys get raped by guys and they sometimes get raped by girls. Like, we're not completely, you know, from what was that say? I was gonna say it in Spanish, but we sometimes do wrong too, right? Like, girls are fucking evil, and they also they sometimes rape other girls, or they sometimes rape boys, and it happens, right? Still not cool. Still, you know, fuck you. I hope you rot in jail. Still. But the point here is mostly that whenever it happens where a male rapes a female, there is the potential outcome of pregnancy, right? Which is what we're trying to get to right now. That I cannot fucking believe that this bill does not have that exception. Does it have the exception of, if it's threatening your life, can you at least terminate the pregnancy?
Yeah, if it's threatening your life, you can. But it's like, there has to be, like, obviously, like, you know, the evidence for it, because I was
fucking hard. Like,
I was tripping because I was like, wait, hold up. So does this mean, like, whenever, like, you know how there's some females that actually end up having, like, complications, and you have to choose whether you want the mom or the baby? So I was like, wait, hold up, like, what the fuck? And that's what actually gave, like, that's why I started reading the bill, because I was like, what's gonna happen then? Like, yes. And no. So that, like, you can completely choose the mom because, you know, like, or if it's like, if the baby is harming the mom in any type of way, you can have an abortion. If it grows, like, you know how sometimes they grow in your ovary and not in like in your uterus, like, you can have an abortion. So if it's medically necessary, you can have the abortion. But other than that, there's no exception. And everyone, I just think it's so crazy how you can sue, like, the dad can sue anybody. Like, he can sue the driver, he can sue the doctor, he can sue like the nurse that was there. Anybody can get sued. Like, anyone can get sued. I just think it's so fucking crazy. Like, it's so crazy just because you were putting up with.
It's horrible, dude. Like, it's just horrible. Like, I can't believe that we have to have this conversation about it. Like, I can't believe it. Like, it's a horrible conversation, and it's someone that we wanted to put out there, and we wanted to have this conversation with you guys. So we are going to open a discussion about this, and hopefully we can have a live soon where we can see your opinions, and we can maybe, you know, hear about different organizations that are trying to make a difference, and we can share them with the rest of you guys. And we're trying to make a change. Like, we need a change. Like, if you guys have any recommendations of, you know, places where you can go have a safe abortion, or if you guys have any GoFundMe where you can have a, like, honestly, dude, reach the fuck out. Like, reach out. I am willing to, you know, share it on social media. I'm willing to, like, donate, like, all of this shit. And if you're too shy to make this GoFundMe, let me know. Like, we'll make it happen. Like, we do not agree with anything that's happening right now. I think this is completely crazy. I think this is completely unfair. And we need to change. Like, we need to change. Like, just so you guys remember, November 8th of 2022 is when y'all can vote out Greg Abbott. Okay? Make sure that y'all are voting, because this cannot keep on fucking happening.
Honestly.
What the fuck? Like, why is a male governor deciding for my body? Like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Like, you know, this motherfucker made part of his fortune off of being crushed into by a company, which is why he's in a wheelchair, right? In case y'all didn't know.
Which is why he had the money to, like, become the governor, or, like,
wait. Hold up. Then, whenever he was a governor, he passed a bill where it says that no one else can do that and live off of a company that did you wrong.
Wow.
Just letting y'all know, right? Just putting that
That's so fucked up. That's so fucked up.
Just putting that out. He does not give a shit. Like, there is no way these people are fucking arguing that it's all about the children, but we rank 50th place in education.
Oh, I saw that.
Fuck you, dude. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. I fucking can't. I fucking can't.
Deja tu eso. Like, what about, like, all the fucking children too? Like, all the children that we had, like, in all these, like, fucking, like, hotels and shit. Like, what about all those fucking children too? Like, if it's really about that, like, all of those children too. Like, one of my really good friends, like, actually works, like, in one of those, like, centers, and they don't give a fuck. Like, they don't give a fuck. Another thing I want to say is, like, super off topic. This is what I want to, like, end it with. That also was super heartbreaking, because I feel like I've always taught Azalea this, because, like, one of her little cousins was, like, making fun of, it was just, like, something like, oh, like, you're gay, you know, like, it was that term, like, just saying that gay is a really bad thing. And I was like, no, like, you know, so I was like, you know what, like, let me stop her. Like, let me, like, let me teach Azalea before, like, anybody else tries to teach her, like, what this means. So then I was like, no, like, and I was like, and even then, like, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, if you like a girl, like, if girls like girls, it really doesn't matter. Like, if you're gay, I was like, because at the end of the day, like, honestly, I have so many fucking friends, like, so many friends, like, even my best friend, like, she's a lesbian, and she loves, like, you know, and I told her, I was like, hey, like, I was gonna say, like, she loves pussy. She loves a vagina. No. But so I told Azalea, I was like, hey, like, and honestly, like, that's one of the nicest, like, most lovable, like, most friendliest person, like, I know, and everyone else that I know that's like also gay, like they're so fun, they're so lovable, like they're just so full of joy. So why should we like hate these people, or why should we talk shit about them, like when like que tiene que ver, like they're the most loving, most nicest, like most friendliest people ever. So I ran across this thing on Twitter, and it says like Laredo scores a 0 on report ranking LGBTQ friendly cities.
Yeah, I
For
saw it.
the second year in a row, like second year in a row. And I was like, what the fuck? Like
Woo, we suck for the second
that's
year in the row.
I just couldn't, like I was so heartbroken by that, because it's true though. Like it is so true. Like it's fucking true. You go like we don't really, okay, so like here in San Antonio, obviously like there's like so many like there's like the gay strip and everything, and it's so friendly. Like I
I
went with
mean,
one of my
taboo.
that's it. That's all you have. That's all you have. Like literally that's all you have.
I mean, let's not joke ourselves. We are not a very LGBTQ plus
No.
friendly city. It's honest, but I do want to make, an observation. I love my gays, right?
Same.
I have always met very nice people, but I have also met pretty fucking like assholes that are gay too. I don't think
Pues
being gay
sí.
has to do anything with you being nice or not. I just feel like everyone should be accepted.
Yeah,
Like
everyone should
like
deserve
no matter
everyone.
who the fuck you want to love, you should always feel accepted in your community.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, I agree that we suck as a city.
But
And
we can
so
fix it, because we can all like start just
let's make a motherfucking
loving.
change. Let's make
Yes.
a change. But okay, well, we're running out of time because, Miss Tracy got shit to do today or whatever.
Sorry.
And before we finish it off, I want to read to you guys one of my most favorite posts that I've seen about the whole abortion thing going on in Texas, right? It's
Mhm.
pretty long, but I'll go ahead and read it pretty fast for you guys. So this was posted by this girl that I do not know, but big shout out to Tiffany Cavazos. And it starts like this: I'm not pro murdering babies. I am pro Barbara, who found out at her 20th week anatomy scan that the infant she had been so excited to bring into this world had developed without life sustaining organs. I am pro Susan, who was sexually assaulted on her way home from work, only to come to the horrific realization that her assailant,
Mhm.
I think it's assailant, planted his seed in her when she got a positive pregnancy test result a month later. I am pro Theresa, who hemorrhaged due to a placental abruption, causing her parents, spouse, and children to have to make the impossible decision on whether to save her or her unborn child. I am pro little Kathy, who had her innocence ripped away from her by someone she should have been able to trust, and her 11-year-old body isn't mature enough to bear the consequence of that betrayal. I am pro Melissa, who's working 2 jobs just to make ends meet and has to choose between bringing another child into poverty or feeding the children she already has because her spouse walked out on her. I am pro Brittany, who realizes that she is in no way financially, emotionally, or physically able to raise a child. I am pro Emily, who went through IVF, ending with a 6 viable implanted eggs recurring selective reduction in order to ensure the safety of her and a safe amount of fetuses. I am pro Jessica, who is finally getting the strength to get away from her physically abusive spouse only to find out that she is carrying the monster's child. I am pro Vanessa, who went into her confirmation appointment after years of trying to conceive, only to hear silence where there should be a heartbeat. I am pro Lindsay, who lost her virginity in her sophomore year with a broken condom and now has to choose whether to be a teenage mom or just a teenager. I am pro Courtney, who just found out she's already 13 weeks along, but the egg never made it out of her fallopian tube. So either she terminates the pregnancy or risks dying from internal bleeding. You can argue and say that I am pro choice all you want, but the truth is, I'm pro life, their lives, women's life. You don't get to pick and choose which scenarios should be accepted. It's not about which stories you don't agree with. It's about fighting for the women in the stories that you do not agree with and the choice that has been made. Women's rights are meant to protect all women, regardless of their situation.
Super sad.
That's it. That's it. Everyone should be able to decide for their body, because you don't know what the fucking situation that they are in. You really do not know. There can be so much behind it. And I am completely against this fucking bill.
Me too.
That's all I'm going to say. And honestly, you guys have an amazing rest of your week. Make good decisions. Get a motherfucking vasectomy if you can. And
please,
let's be pro-life, right? Pro-lives that are already fucking here. Let's worry about the kids that are already in foster care. Let's worry about the way they've been disappearing. Let's worry about the way that mom that already has 4 kids and that her husband walked out on her cannot feed her children. Let's focus on the people that are already here. Let's not waste this crazy amount of energy, time, and resources to fight people and oppress women so they can't make their decision of if they want to be pregnant or terminate that pregnancy.
Yes.
And lastly, fuck Greg Abbott.
Fuck him.
People, thank you very much.